government will continue to take proactive steps such as championing a credit culture to discourage corruption while strengthening the effectiveness and efficiency of the various anti-corruption agencies. That's to be a continued work in progress. Security shall be top priority of our administration because neither prosperity nor justice can prevail amid insecurity and violence. To effectively tackle this, we shall reform both our security doctrine and its architecture. We shall invest more in our security personnel, and it means more than an increase in number. We shall provide better training, equipment, pay, and power.
Well, security is next. Some say, in fact, it's one of the most important things because there will be no economy without security. And as you can see, we're joined by Mr. Dennis Amachree, former Assistant Director at the SSS. He joins us virtually from New York this morning. Thank you for staying up late to have this conversation with us, Mr. Amachree. It's good to see you again.
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, Nigeria moved from the government of a general now to the government of Tinubu. A lot of people had high hopes for the Buhari government, especially because of his experience. Now, this is a new president who does not have that kind of experience in the area of security. But nevertheless, he has made very, very big promises regarding security. He talked about, defending the nation from terror and all criminalities that threaten the peace and stability of our country and our sub-region. And he went on and on. But generally speaking, listening to him speak about security, he is now the commander-in-chief anyway. How did they hit you as a security person?
Thank you very much for having me. Well, it does not have to be a general, to be, he's the commander-in-chief. He has people, professionals under him who are going to advise him and, of course, carry out the security measures that are required in a country like ours. But you see, right now, he's taking over at a time when the security situation is really, really bad. Really, really bad, because it was even worse than when the former government came into power. Because right now we have all kinds of situations, threats that are happening in the north, northwest, northeast, in the south, southeast, and all kinds of agitation. And people are not very, very comfortable traveling across the country. So these are issues that he's going to be facing with. But if he handles it properly, I think things will go well. I am very happy when he talked about, looking at two major areas: the diligence, the doctrine, and then, of course, the architecture. So let's see how it progresses.
I think it's important to break that very point down because for a lot of people they've heard, in fact, the former president has talked about rejigging the security architecture not once, not twice. Now we're hearing the president again saying that we'll reform, he didn't just say architecture, but security doctrine. Can you break this down for us? What is security doctrine? What is security architecture? So at least we can keep track of whatever changes or otherwise that are made.
Okay. Every country have a national interest, and these national interests are designed from the security doctrine, from your security strategy, so to say. In Nigeria, we have a document called the National Security Strategy, which was written in 2019. And that document actually was trying to make sure that besides strengthening the infrastructures of security, security will be moved towards human-centric, that is, security of the citizens. That's what it was designed to do. But unfortunately, that was not achieved. And I hope that maybe now that he's talking about security doctrine, they will have to take back that document, look at it properly, and then, of course, tighten up the situation. Because when it comes to doctrine, there are issues that we have to really come to terms with. One, national sovereignty, national integrity, territorial integrity, and all kinds of and the well-being of the people. But if these things are not met, then we are left in the cold. One thing that I am very worried about all the time is that term, national interest. Now, what is our national interest? That has to be fully defined, and this government will have to, if they are going into the doctrine of it, I think that's number one area to start. What is Nigeria's national interest? Sometimes it flows into foreign affairs where they will say, oh, Nigerian foreign policy. Nigeria is the center of Africa is the center
of the delivery
or whichever, yeah.
President yesterday, Mr. Amachree, but maybe over time we'll hear more on that from him. But when you're talking about this security thing, doctrine, infrastructure, and all those things, the question that comes to my mind is the collaboration with ministries, departments, and agencies, and then collaboration with states. That seems to be largely lacking, and the former President Buhari, repeatedly called for that collaboration of the various security agencies. So how do you see that happening in this new dispensation? It's never a challenge at the top, but when it comes to the men, the foot soldiers, that seems to be where we usually have issues. How do we circumvent that?
We have a major salient problem in the country. And that problem is patriotism. Nigerians are not patriotic. And if they are not patriotic, it becomes very difficult to preach security to any other kind of agency, of government, or to the people themselves.
When you're talking about patriotism, are you talking about the patriotism of the average Nigerian or patriotism of the officers and men of the various security agencies?
All of them, all of the above. The security operatives have to be patriotic. Nigerians have to be patriotic so that we have something to look at. And when you do this, number one, symbols of national patriotism, our national anthem, our national flag. These are issues that, we had this issue with IPOB people burning the Nigerian flag all over the place in the East and stuff like that. These are very far-reaching issues. Now, our flag is not respected. Our national anthem is not being respected. In fact, I have a suggestion. which I have been discussing with some of my colleagues. Let us change the national anthem, because the present one does not make any sense. It does not make any meaning. Nigerians cannot relate to it. You can relate to the old national anthem, because when you are looking at symbols for a nation, you talk of land, you talk of the flag, you talk of patriotism, to these things. We are not proud to be Nigerians. How do we become proud? We have to be patriotic, And
Mr. Amachree,
yes.
in that speech of the president, he talked about looking at the person of the security operative, in investing in the personnel. What area, where do you think he should start? Because when you say we are not patriotic, patriotism sometimes is born out of the investments gotten from the nation to the individual. So where do you think the president and his team should start when he says we're going to invest in the personnel, the security personnel?
Fantastic. Thank you for that question. I was very, very happy. Line where he said that he's going to invest in security personnel, not just equipment. Equipment is okay, fine. You can keep them up. Training is one of the part investment in personnel, because a well-trained security personnel is an efficient one. It's going to be an efficient one. And we need to train them. You look at the police, look at the DSS. A lot of people in the DSS, you'll be surprised to know, are people who just are there thinking that it's just another civil service. So what do? You weed a lot of them out. Get them out, employ top-notch security intelligence officers. How do you do that? Go to the universities, get students who are graduating first class or first class upper, second class upper, and recruit them into the service. These days you have people who are coming in with a note from a senator and, causing problem for everybody, because they come in there and they are not ready to do the work. So there must be weeding there, and then the remaining, serious people must be well trained to world-class level, and then kitted, because intelligence today is not just giving security reports from local government or from state to somewhere. Security intelligence has gone beyond, and is now in the realm of the electronic spectrum. So how many of them are well trained in that? We need to have people like that, because if you want to compete in the international playground, you must be kitted properly.
Right.
And I'm happy that he's saying that he's going to train them.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amachree. Really do appreciate this conversation. We will definitely come back to you as regards what should be done with the security architecture, infrastructure, doctrine, and all that, including the personnel. Thank you so much. Mr. Dennis Amachree is a former assistant director of the Ex-DSS, and he joined us virtually from New York. Thank you once again.
Thank you for having me.
And it's time to find out what you have to say about our conversation today. We have this mail from Dixon Eka, who says, I congratulate President Bola Tinubu on his inauguration as the 16th president of Nigeria. The new president should hit the ground running to correct many nepotistic acts and inactions of his predecessor. All security heads and top revenue-generating agencies must not come from one region of the country. An Inspector General of Police cannot stay in the office even after retirement as if we don't have other competent hands. Certain things such as local refining of crude oil and a holistic approach to operations of modular refineries should be worked out before an outright removal of fuel subsidy. Ranching of cattle should be considered to avoid herders-farmers clash. I wish him well in the coveted office of the President of Nigeria. Dixon Eka there.
And Henry Ewunono says the proposal starts talking about Tinubu's economic agenda. He says the proposals appear superfluous and at variance with Buhari's, which he promised to continue with. They will be achievable if the people are forced back to work and politicians stop milling around the corridors of power. If zero budgeting replaces the envelope system, if strategic planning and diligent execution is prioritized without the temptation of erecting elephant projects to attract accolades, while the intangibles like education, healthcare services, and ethical reorientation suffer. Congratulations, Mr. President. The honeymoon ended at Eagle Square yesterday. Well, indeed, you can say that maybe the president of the shortest honeymoon ever. Ayo and Kennedy.
Was there ever any sort of honeymoon? That's a question for a lot of people, but
Hit the ground running.
oh, flying actually. Olagunjo Oladile has this one saying every new administration in Nigeria is bound to meet and deal with an existing problem which falls under the umbrella of politics, saying this has made every president set an unattainable goal. These issues are not a recent phenomenon, nor a short-lived one, and the mail goes on. Thank you very much.
This last one, I believe, is from Festus Akimboyewa, who says, and I quote, "Government for the past 20 years are not giving Nigerians quality living through the provision of basic needs, quality infrastructure, security, and jobs for our teeming youths. President Tinubu's government must prioritize the welfare of all Nigerians."
Is where we'll say thank you for letting us be a part of your morning. Do have yourself a beautiful rest of the day. I'm Neota Igbe.
Thank you for watching. I'm Maokwe Yusuf. Goodbye.
Well, let's make this our best day yet. I'm Kayode Okikele.
And I'm Amachree. Have a wonderful rest of your day.